All right. So, I realized Bellular had a video out about Warcraft having tremendous news. And I'm real curious about this tremendous news as I still play World of Warcraft because Dragonflight is actually really fun so far, so I'm enjoying myself. The thing is this tremendous news or is it tremendous for like lore and stuff? Because if it's not like the game's fun and it's going to get more fun, then we're we're looking at the requirements for the word tremendous in vastly different ways.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the WoW News. It's been a little while, hasn't it? There is so much to catch up on. We have a giga nerf to a very powerful weapon. We have Ashara coming back. And we think we found out when 10.0.7 is going to be coming through some cheeky data mining. And the good news is 10.07 actually looks bigger than we thought, with a lot of really damn good content. So let's get stuck in, but first I do have some really amazing news to share.
I'm not going to lie.
The Pale Beyond, our first game, released on Friday. Currently, we have, I think from 120 Steam reviews, a rating of 95.
So this isn't a game that I would typically enjoy. Like, I don't really like survivals, and it's like all scripted, like choice making stuff, at least from my experience so far, like, and my understanding of it. Like, it's just typically not something I'd play, and I haven't played a lot of it so far, maybe just like an hour or two. But I found that it was like I only played that short amount of time because I didn't have the time to keep playing. I had other stuff I had to take care of, so I had to stop, and I just haven't had the time to get back into it because there are other games I'm trying to play right now. So it's a game that actually has me wanting to find the time to play it now, from a genre of games that I typically don't enjoy. So I'm interested to see how that goes moving forward with it.
And right now we're in the 2023 Hall of Fame for Open Critic, which is completely bonkers to me. Now that said, it's early in 2023, but hey, 2023 has been straight bangers for video games, hasn't it? So we're absolutely thrilled with the response that the game has got. What I can share with you is that sales are beyond our expectations, beyond our publishers' expectations. They, your support is absolutely going to allow us to do more things and to just make more, as cool content as we can. The whole team is just over the moon with the critical and the player response. It's just been an absolutely crazy time. Now that being said, we do have a few bugs that have cropped up and one or two UX issues where essentially...
So with it selling and performing far better than they expected, that's really awesome, because what that means is they're going to have the funding and resources to be able to make their next game a better game. Like, not say that there's anything wrong at all with the Pale Beyond. It's just like you can see that they're going to have the ability to bring in like just advancements in what they develop, and that's exciting as somebody who plays games, right? Because even if, like, say Pale Beyond ends up being a game that I end up being like, okay, I've had enough, I'm just still not my thing. Maybe the next game is more my thing and I thoroughly enjoy it instead of enjoying it for a few hours or something. Maybe I enjoy it for months because they're able to start branching out, trying different genres and developing, and like it's exciting to see that happen.
Things are fine, but we could do a better job of ensuring the players know what's going on.
And this is always good to see.
Patches throughout the weekend to get them.
Like the fact that not only do they have the patch notes up, like you can look at it in Steam and see all of this yourself, but the fact that he brings it up, excellent.
Those things, patched up. But yeah, it's just been absolutely crazy times. If you want to support us, the best way to support us, of course, is to purchase the game on Steam and then to leave an honest review of the game. definitely check the community forum. We have, we're very
Like, part of the reason that that's excellent is because it shows through his actions that he means what he says. When he keeps saying that, like, transparency is something important to see and that's great that we've been seeing more of from, like, Blizzard recently, in his more recent videos about it, he's been making these comments, which he's absolutely right about. Seeing how open he is about what's going on and how transparent he's being with his game, amazing. Like, his game, as in he's part of the responsible party for producing and creating it. Like, it's his creation at the end of the day, right? It's his team, to my understanding.
Communicative there with every single problem and a bit of feedback. We've got our patch notes up there, so that'll keep you up to date with what's going on. And that's really it. I'm in here recording this video. Thomas is through that wall, doing patches, tweaking little things that maybe we didn't pick up on. But overall, it's been an incredible experience. I mean, for our debut game to sell as well as it seems to be selling, and to have a 95 in Steam is...
Like, that's awesome.
I mean, you don't expect that.
I like seeing that somebody chased a dream and seeing this kind of success from it. That's awesome. It's awesome just to see happen. Everybody loves that kind of story. If you don't love that kind of story, I don't know what you like. You probably just like watching failure, I guess.
Saying, hey, I wanted to buy this to support you. It really wasn't my genre. I didn't think I'd like this kind of game. But
oh, look, there's there's a lot of people who are saying similar stuff that I just did, I guess. That's cool.
That is really that's like the pinnacle of feedback for me, that even people who wouldn't necessarily
survival games. I might play like
survival role-playing game, that they're actually wondering
72 hours or something of like a survival game, and then I'll never touch it again typically. So we'll see.
Twitter and social media. Thank you, of course, to the reviewers and the various different news outlets.
That's like the high end. It's like 30 to 72 hours in survival games before I'm over it.
Thankfully, but,
and if they're terrible,
everything, big thank you as well.
If a survival game's terrible, it's like 5 minutes.
Between us, we've all been, 24/7 round-the-clock coverage to answer questions and provide support or anything like that to make sure the launch goes smoothly. So, wow, yeah, I mean, finally. To be honest, I don't think it's quite hit us yet. So, okay. Good things coming in the future. Thank you so much for all of your support.
Good things coming in the future because they see how well this has performed as a debut. So they're like awesome.
First things first then. We
they see the potential
as
well.
When 10.07 is going to launch. Blizzard haven't said anything yet, but data...
So this is the WoW news. So we just had 4 minutes of the Pale Beyond self-promotion, and I fully support it. That was good to see. I love it.
Has unearthed a clue. This is the same sort of clue that helped us massively work out when 10.05 released. So the Noble Garden event is getting some updates in 10.07. Noble Garden is Easter. Easter is soon. Right now, the event is actually planned to start on Monday, April 10th. And that would mean that, let's just say Blizzard is planning for the patch to be very latest the week before that, on Tuesday, April 3rd. Could actually be earlier, but basically April 3rd is a reasonable date to expect this patch by, and this would mean that the WoW
sense.
team
It's only like a month away,
basically. Patch 2 months after our first Dragonflight patch. This is faster than the patch cadence of Legion, everyone, and that is bloody good news.
Yeah. Since Legion, like BFA and Shadowlands both had really like shit pacing for patches. Like, it did content creation and changes and involvement. Like, it just didn't seem to matter. Like, here you go. So, like, you paid for this. There you go. We're like, you keep giving us a subscription for the fact that it's a live service game, but we're gonna just minimally here and there. Here's a fucking cookie. So it's really good to see this, because this is the second time we've had a decent sized patch come in already. Like, we're still in season 1 for all the PvP and the mythic stuff, and it's still the first raid of the expansion, right? Like, so we're still in phase 1 of the expansion, and we're already got two patches that are pretty decent. So, and we'll see too, because 10.1, like the next patch we have, that's not like a 2 decimals in with the change, but it's your first decimal, right? Because this is the 10th expansion, so 10 point and then the phase we're in, and then the expansion out of that, or the patch out of that number. So until that first decimal moves, we're still in the same patch phase, and we're already, here's a second decent sized patch for the expansion. Like, this is what you should see going on in an MMO, especially if it's a subscription.
Right? That is tremendous. This will mean
Absolutely.
Dragonflight Season 1 could perhaps end in May, maybe 10.1 releases, like late May, early June, maybe late June. They might want to avoid Diablo. But the idea
that
of
would make
3
sense.
patches in 6 months... Like,
you don't want to conflict with your own
one patch
game.
Every 6 months.
You don't want to be your own
more than 6
competition.
months, right? It's crazy. Okay, let's talk about the game then.
Yes, let's do it.
Dude, this is a horrible
Oh,
experience.
nice.
How do you live like this? Well, I don't know, Linus. I don't have time to research upgrades for this thing. Can't you just build me one? Do I look like a PC building company that uses only...
That's
Hunters,
annoying.
Rip, your
I
time
appreciate they put in the effort.
Yes. The Razageth bow has been both
But
a
I
dream
just hate
and a
ads.
nightmare for hunters, with even the looking for raid version being stronger than any other bow in the game, even mythic. It was a very rare item, but goddamn, it would get you thousands of free DPS. Or if you didn't get it, you wouldn't get that DPS, and you were going to be beaten by worse hunters with worse gear who just got lucky once, which...
Sounds like RNG. Yep. Also sounds like people when they're like, the bow didn't drop when you run a LFR run, and it's like hunters that are way over geared. And you're like, here for a transmog? No. This bow dropping an LFR is better than anything else you're going to get other than this bow at a higher quality. Like, leave it the fuck alone. Just leave it alone. Let them have fun. Let them have fun. Leave it alone.
which is not a good experience, so Blizzard are nuking it.
Of course it's not a good experience. Because it sucks if you have less gear and, like, well, not, okay, so if you're the person that it sucks for, right? It sucks when you have, like, you have 30 item level better than this other hunter. And then this guy who you should be just shit canning and damage on a meter, you can't compete with. Like, you're not even close. Not even remotely close. And it's you who's getting fucked. And it's because he has an LFR bow. And you're rocking something that's like upgraded all the way to the maximum, or crafted and recrafted all the way up as high as you can get it, or whatever it is for what you've got that's best in slot, because I don't play a hunter, so I don't really know. But yeah, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Someone who's played rogue, I've seen this happen, right? If you got the legendary daggers, you could have a shit item level and do way more damage than the rogues did, right? Because fuck our gear, you had the legendary daggers and we didn't have them. So that's all it was. That's all it is. Like, it sucks. It sucks when you're on the shit end of the deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think instead of nerfing the bow, they could just increase the drop rate. Just increase the drop rate. Let it be ridiculous. Like, sometimes you should just let something happen and be absolutely absurd and kind of break the game, because it reminds players that they're having fun.
Basically, it used to give the hunter attack speed, but that unintentionally buffed the hunter's pets, and that's why it was so strong. Now,
but that's awesome.
Just add damage to the hunter's autos. Of course, if you had the bow,
so
obviously, my commiserations. Those brief times when you feel OP, it's just a question of, like, enjoy it while it lasts.
Exactly. It's always going to come to an end sooner or later. But I think they should have capitalized on it and said, look, we're going to increase the drop rate of this legendary. Now it's set to whatever they decide is better, and see how the community responds to that. and let that be what happens. And they could even just make it so that it's only increased in like LFR or something, right? So, and then what? You just chill. That's all you have to do. Chill and see how the community responds to that instead. And then let it sit that way. And then maybe in the next patch that's significant size, so give them till like 10.7, or like even give them till after 10.7, give them till like, or 10.07, give them till like 10.1, 10.2, give them till the next phase, right? If you gave them till the next phase, they could straight up just have fun. And then you could nerf the bow. And nobody's really going to care then, because it's just going to look like, okay, so here we are again, a new phase, so all the old gears are irrelevant again, because it's what's going to happen, right? It's not like going into phase 2, Vault of the Incarnates is still an important raid for you to run, for you to get into the new raid. The world quests are all going to give you better gear. There's going to be a storyline quests that are going to give you better gear. Heroic raiding gear might hold out for a while. It might not, but mythic level gear will. So if you're at that level with your items, you're probably going to be fine until you start jumping into raids or mythic plus again. And that's how it's going to go, because that's how they've designed the game, is to be seasonal. And personally, I don't think that it benefits the game that way.
But hey, look at all the extra damage you have got for free, and this is still going to be a very good weapon for you. Obviously, BM was getting the most out of the buff to make...
Obviously, because it was making the pets do more damage.
So of course. A tiny knock-on effect. It's a silly enough mistake to have been made, making it accidentally so OP, but it did occur as a part of an overall mission to try to make really new, exciting,
and that's awesome,
legendary raid loot.
And that's what I mean. Like, let that shit exist. Let it exist. I'm happy that it happened. Like, too bad it wasn't for my class and that I didn't get lucky with the loot, right? But it is what it is.
And if you ask me,
I'm happy it was there.
Good with the rings and the trinkets, and I think it's a great goal.
Mm-hmm.
All the same, though,
yeah,
gearing as an experience does need some tinkering, and thankfully, reward designer Skarzard plans on addressing that whole situation with a, quote, very, very long post soon, specifically targeting the revival catalyst, tier acquisition, and raid rewards. This is what we want to see. Skarzard
That's good.
Is honestly
that's really good to
legend.
see.
His posts usually really, they go down a treat with the players. They actually go in depth and things, and it is
that is definitely the reputation that he has, and that's what comes to mind when you see his name come up with things. If you've followed the forums and played the game for a while, or just watched content like what Bellular makes, where they go over this kind of thing, then yeah, that's exactly what comes with this guy's name. Scarlizard is absolutely
exactly what we wanted to see from Blizzard Communication. It is awesome stuff, so I'm looking forward to it greatly. So far, though, I think the learnings from this season have been good. Season 2 should be even better. Of course, obviously, here's to hoping that the revival catalyst comes a little bit sooner, the tier acquisition is a little bit faster, and perhaps the raid rewards get a little bit more deterministic. Maybe
tier acquisition, I feel like, isn't bad at all. Right, with the catalyst, you just, okay, here I go to the thing, here's the loot that I have that has a good item level, make it a set piece, now I have my tier set, thank you. The thing is, you just need that catalyst, and that's the problem, is your gate kept judged on the catalyst plus raid drops, so you need one or the other, right? But you could do it that way. You could also just, out of the mythic plus, it'll show up in your vault, right? So you've got multiple ways to get it. You can actually go get it out of a raid, you can get it out of the vault, and you can use the catalyst. So there's 3 chances a week, and one of them's guaranteed, right? I feel like being able to get a tier piece a week is actually really good pacing, because you only need a 4 set anyways. If it was like a 6 set bonus, you'd be waiting 6 weeks. And you know what? I bet the 6 set bonus would be fucking worth it, to be honest. Like, I'm all for it. Give us 6 set bonus, like 6 set pieces with a 6 set bonus, and make us have to wait a week to guarantee a piece of loot. Maybe you get 2 in that week, and maybe you get 3. Maybe you get a token off the raid boss, you get it drops 1 in your vault, and you exchange a piece of loot at the catalyst. Now you're halfway to your 6 piece, right? In 1 week, because you got lucky with loot drops and rolls. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's amazing pacing. And with only a 4 set, that means you're 1 piece away from being at your set cap, right? So why... I don't think that the pacing of getting tier needs buffed. I think we have plenty of ways to get it, but like you could maybe make ways for us to get more catalysts. That would be nice. And then like maybe it'd also be cool if you could choose which set you want. Do you want the season 1 set or the season 2 set? And you can get either set out of the catalyst. That way both set bonuses still are relevant and capable, and maybe people will still want to run Vault of Incarnates just for the extra chance at the tokens, and you maintain a relevant reason for people to run the content you created within the expansion instead of it being seasonal. That would be great. I don't know that Blizzard would have thought that far in advance or even considered that at any point in time. It seems like a stretch to me, but it would be great.
With some sort of currency that maybe another game might even call a totem. But anyway, with that aside, you may have noticed this week that enchant prices got real spicy. Now we know why. It's because enchants broke. Some players were using a sneaky exploit to force the game to make quality level 3.
I didn't know they were using an exploit, but
turned off making scrolls entirely.
This would explain how we were able to see the Sophic enchants, like Sophic Devotion. Well, I guess they're the Devotion enchants, right? Sophic's just one of them, and Frozen's the other one that I have used. And they're expensive as fuck. And then all of a sudden they were real cheap. An exploit existing explains this.
The exploit was crazy. If you had no bag space free, the crafting system doesn't let you basically make an item. If you have a non-full stack of quality 3 enchants, but no other free space in your bag, then the game basically just goes, well, I can't give you a quality 1 or 2 enchant because that won't fit in your bag. So, a 3 will fit. Take one of those. So, no matter what your inspiration,
that makes so much sense.
You were just making straight rank 3s.
That makes so much sense. And I bet everybody who does this is going to find themselves with some sort of penalty or punishment for utilizing it as an exploit. Which, I mean, it's an exploit, right? But that is a god tier exploit because the cost of those enchants dropped by so much. It was so nice to see. It was so nice to see that it didn't cost you like 40k to get a fucking enchant for your new weapon. That you could actually just have your new weapon and go get an enchant for like maybe 10k. That, like, holy shit, 10k was so much more reasonable. And then I was like, oh wow, look, it's down to 6k now. This is great. Yes, more of that.
So yeah, there you go.
God tier.
I guess sell them now. Maybe you'll be as lucky as our guildie who didn't use the exploit but did actually have enough stock to make some crazy bank anyway.
Holy fuck.
While we're talking,
Wait.
You're just making straight rank 3s. So yeah, there you go.
That was a huge number I wanted to
Maybe
see.
you'll be as lucky as our guildie who didn't use the exploit but did actually have enough stock.
Also just noticed I was so distracted by Pale I forgot I had WoW open to cancel scan my ultra inflated enchants that I need to sell ASAP before the exploit is patched and the price drops again. yesterday's enchanting spoils. Total gold collected 1.4458. Holy shit. Dude made almost 1.5 million gold in a day. Bro. Like, I'm telling you, holy shit. And didn't even know, like, wasn't even using the exploit, just got enough of them just through having the skill and enchanting high enough to pump out threes because they worked on it probably. Then yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. Worked on enough to get their skill up high enough, get the right, like, enchanting gear equipped to be able to have as much as possible for their shit. Like, absolutely, I get it. So you could definitely do that and then have these stocked up just normally and being like, and then all of a sudden, boom. And I didn't need a weapon this week, so I haven't looked at enchant prices for weapons at all this week because I didn't have to get any.
To make some crazy.
It's the first time.
Anyway,
it's the first week that I haven't had an
professions.
enchant for a weapon
The
on
public
my
test
main
run's
or
got
an
some
alt.
real nice changes to professions. Most importantly, public orders no longer need the orderer to give all of the non-sold.
Oh, nice! So now you can make more money, right?
Public orders and
you make more money.
A bit of cost to the crafter, which
Good.
does sound fair.
Good.
How the system has actually panned
Good.
out. Hopefully, Tan 1 though has a larger.
It should increase the automatic cost based on whatever the auction house scans the price at. I hope that that's how it does it and that it doesn't just go, oh, you know what though? We happen to have 20 gold we'll give you for this item that if you have to go grab out of the auction house to make this for this person is going to cost you 50 gold on its own, right? So we're going to give you 20 gold for that item. I sure hope that they're tipping you enough to make that worth your time as well as make a profit off of the fact that you've done your profession. Like, because you don't, the amount of gold you get off a quest really isn't that much more than it was 2 expansions ago when you were max level, but the cost of everything has gone up astronomically. And the reason for that is because of players in the game making more gold. It's not because Blizzard's given us more gold. Like 20 gold to post. There are people with millions of gold. I'm not one of them, but there are plenty of people with millions of gold. Like 20 gold? Okay. Like your fees for everything suck. The cost of like everything is like super deflated because it's reflective of how much money you get for quests, but it's not reflective of the economy within the game. It's really strange how it doesn't reflect in any way.
Fix. Now, our favorite story to follow, of course, has been the ongoing rework for the Protection Paladin. Don't know about your guild, but certainly there's a lot of salty paladins in my guild, and they're now turning into hopeful
Retribution, you
paladins,
silly
because this
goose.
build has brought yet
That was
another
good.
wave of changes, promising the class that, well, honestly, promising it'll be pretty awesome when the patch drops. Stuff really seems to be going in a good direction. This week, we see some stuff moved around to the class tree. Healing Hands and Unbound Freedom. May not seem like much, but it frees up points from the spec to, give you some more customization freedom in the spec tree. It also gives Holy and Prot some pretty sick new options too, so that's really exciting. As for
I don't
some
play
talents,
paladins.
you can now customize.
If it wears
your
plate,
holy power single
I
target
probably
build
don't
cost
play it.
if you want to play around with how holy power generating
So-
and spending feels. So we're really getting into a level
That
of
does
spec
sound like that it
customization
should
territory
make
that we
playing a
never thought
Ret
possible.
Pally better,
There's
right?
also a cooldown extender for wings and one
Okay.
for their other damage window. Ret even has a data mined talent.
So I wonder if that talent is like the talent for Outlaw that extends your roll the bones and it carries like a 7-minute cooldown. Because personally, I don't think that that talent's worth it. I think that a 7-minute cooldown is not going to be as much of a boon as something else. unless you have some way of guaranteeing that you can fucking roll a Yahtzee on a regular basis. Because you're really not guaranteed that you'll get a Yahtzee in an entire mythic. You could run 3, 4, 5 mythics in a row and not see a single Yahtzee. So, like, I just don't think that you're really going to see the boost out of it to make it really that valid at 7 minutes for a cooldown when your other cooldowns are like 2, right? That's 3 sets of cooldowns that you've gone through, and then you still have half of that cooldown to wait again before you can use this ability again. And I don't know if it's affected by your talent that allows your combo points spent to reduce your cooldown time. I don't think that that's listed as one of the talents that affects that. So I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't know that that's one of them. So you'd have to actually wait 7 minutes. You couldn't just farm that down by building and spending combo points. So I don't know. I just don't see it.
That adds something completely
But
new to WoW.
maybe it'll be more beneficial for paladins or set up in a better way.
Crusader Strike into a 3-part combo. What? That's crazy. I can't wait to see that implemented.
Yeah, so instead of
And
just
you can
doing
also
like
make
one
Crusader
strike, it does
passive,
3. That'd be
like
cool
the
as
Demon
fuck.
Hunter and Pro Warrior fillers. Basically, when this is done, I think there's crazy potential. We'll have full coverage very soon because we have some real excited Red Pack.
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. That might make Ret Paladins like really interesting and fun to play. I'm kind of interested in checking it out.
Paladins on the team. I can't wait to bring that to you. But Paladin's not the only class to get some changes announced this week. Frost DKs are getting breath fixed a bit.
Another plate class, yep.
A very strong PvP.
I have druids, but I really don't know how to play them.
Getting some nice fixes
I've never really played them.
Shaman is getting yet more buffs. Again,
Oh, nice. Rest of Shaman's getting buffed. That's good. That's good. Okay, good. So we'll get into that later, I guess.
First off, we think we know the patch title because on the PTR,
Or it'll be a
the
different video.
campaign title
That's
is
fine.
data mined, and for the last while, every campaign has actually matched the patch name, meaning that
Yes.
we believe that patch 10.1 will be called Embers of Neltharion.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're going to be going deep under the earth. There's going to be loads of dark
Nice.
secrets of Deathwing's past, stuff that will matter to us.
See, I always
now,
feel weird
more
about
on that
assuming
later,
that it's
but for right
10.0,
now,
not 10.1,
cosmetics,
because it's
they're
like
Scarlet
we're
gear.
in phase
We
1,
can't show you exactly
but
what
it's
going to look like because
patch
the names are data mined.
10.0.
But we've got some icons and names cropping up for the trading post.
It always
There's a
fucks with
Scarlet
me a little
Fever
bit. I
shield,
don't know why.
which,
You'd think
we
that
think
after
will be
10
this one, this
expansions you'd
cloak,
be used
and
to
its
it, and I
chest piece
still
called
just
a
fuck it up
Cossack,
in my head.
which will
I don't
probably
know
look
why.
like this, which admittedly does look
That's
goofy, but
hilarious.
it's depict-
That's hilarious. That's the new Paladin class armor right there. That's it. That's it. That's what they get. They get exactly that. WoW just cuts that image and photoshops it into WoW, and this is what they get. Yes. Fuck them, dude.
mock-up. But it's that style of thing, so I suppose if you
Fuck
want to look
'em.
like this kind of battle priest paladin,
That'd be hilarious.
Cool situation, you know, then hell.
It does actually sound like it could be a really cool thing. But I don't know if the Vatican... Dude, the Knights Templar, right? Weren't they, like, all under the Catholic Church and the Pope, right? Right? And if you were to, like, go to the Vatican today, they still have, like, all these people that are, like, technically look like knights, right? That are guards around the Vatican. And the Vatican is basically its own country. And that's who they have standing guard within the Vatican. So, yeah, I'd say they have knights, dude.
I don't know. But also coming to the trading post then for paladins, Labrams. Look at this. A Scarlet Holy Book is just the ticket. There's loads of holy books too, so that's awesome.
I was actually, when I was walking my dog yesterday, just thinking about the fact that I miss when we used to have ranged slots for every class. Like, you had totems, you had Librams, you had relics. You, like, you know, like, thrown items and hunters actually had melee weapons just for stats. Like, I miss that. I miss that we had that little flavoring for certain classes that was like, yeah, see, this is your thing. And it was like, for shamans, you had a totem slot. You wanted to loot a totem to put in your totem slot, right? Like, I like that. The fact that paladins had Librams, like, that's cool. I want that back.
Awesome for the paladins.
It's so, like, I enjoy that.
Players, there's just an array of different colored.
It's one of the things that I hope they realize from Classic. You know, looking at how Classic performs, I hope that's one of the things that they go, oh, you know what? Maybe we trimmed too much out to reduce the amount of loot that people needed to get because people felt like they needed too much loot from the raids, and that this was whatever the complaining was. I don't even remember because I didn't mind at all. All that says to me is increased drop, like the amount of loot that drops right off of bosses, like the thresholds for how much loot you get at whatever threshold. Just increase the loot drop, right? Like, you get more pieces of loot when you have 10 people in with that system than you do now, right? That's a solution right there, right? Like, so why not? Why the fuck not? It makes way more sense. Just figure out a way to maintain that than to be like, oh, but we have to loot so many pieces of gear and it's so much to manage, and like, everybody min-maxes it now with like all these bots and everything anyways that simulate everything for you, right? You run a simulator on your character, you figure out what kind of gear would perform the best because you ran the simulator, and then you put the gear on and you go, wow, the simulator was right, dude. Like, yeah, it was. Imagine that. So obviously, right?
Evening gloves. And finally, some
just do it.
Weapons. I love simple
Doesn't
weapons.
matter.
I mean, what if you want your
They're always
going to
bitch.
More like Geralt of Rivia. Have some simple mogs, and it's great that we're getting these via the trading post. And actually,
it really
prices
is
are pretty damn reasonable. So hopefully, you can pick up most of what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then our last non-lore PTR update from this week is Recruit a Friend, where we seemingly have no idea what's really going on.
I've actually never
There's a
used this
splash screen that shows what looks like a goblin-themed mount and pet. And
oh, that's nice.